I was getting petrol just before and rolled in, and I was just like craving some sugar because I've been trying to do a diet, and suffice to say it's not working. So I desperately wanted some chocolate or something. Went in, filled up my car, which is insanely cheap right now. So I thought I can spend the extra couple bucks on a chocolate bar, surely. It's my day. I'm gonna splurge myself.
Yeah, man. Treat yourself.
So grabbed the Kit Kat, put it on the bar. She was like,
hang on, hold up.
Okay.
Kit Kat or Kit Kat Chunky?
Kit Kat Chunky. How'd you know, dude?
Okay. It's just the only way, dude.
Yes. Sorry. I thought it was so obvious I didn't have to specify, but
I mean, it is,
right.
but
for the listeners,
Yeah.
It was Kit Kat Chunky. And she was like, have you tried the new gold one? I was like, nah. She's like, you should try it. I'm like, nah, stick with what I know. Stick with what's safe. And she's like, but once upon a time, what you knew now, you didn't once know.
Fuck
I'm like,
me.
do you really want to do this right now? Come
Yeah.
on. It's true, but it's 5:30. It's Wednesday. Let's just do the small talk thing where I give you the money, you give me the
Hi,
bar.
how you going? Yeah, good.
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah. I say stick with what I know. She goes, ha ha ha, fair enough. But no, she keeps digging, and she really wants to sell me this gold bar, and I'm like, you must get commission or something from this because you're not letting it slide. And I was like, oh man, I'm so weak-willed. I just got fed up, and I was like, fine, I'll try this fabled, illustrious gold bar. Where is it? I don't see it here on the front counter. And she's like, oh, well, it's not there. I'm like, no, I can't see it at all. Do you have like a special rack that I can't see? Is it an under the counter kind of thing? This illustrious gold bar? And she was like, oh, you know what? Actually, I don't think we have any in stock.
Damn.
And I was like, for real? You wasted 7 minutes of my life. I just want to go home.
Watch me turn up, roll up, yeah, you know I burn up, burn up.
Hello and welcome. You're listening to Hobby Homies. We are your weekly Wargame and Board Game podcast. My name's Shane. As always, I'm joined by my co-host Fox.
Howdy.
And this week we are taking a big old deep dive into 40k lore.
Yes. Oh, man. I've been so hyped for this for two reasons. The first reason is I haven't had to lift a finger for this episode. You said, I'm going to do Necron lore, and you've ran with it. Because Necrons, that's your army. That's
my jam.
That's your jam. That's your marble? Help me out here.
I don't know where you're going with this, dude.
There's a jam that isn't strawberry.
Marmalade.
Marmalade. That's the one. It's like the one that old people have. Yeah, marmalade.
Hey, marmalade's good.
What's that?
Marmalade's good. On toast.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but you're a boomer.
Only in spirit, dude. Come on.
You're such an old soul. Yeah, they're your marmalade jam, dude. The first army you've ever had, you've got 1 billion codexes for them. So I'm super excited because I've got a Necron army and I'm just starting my Necron journey.
Yeah. And
I've deliberately shied away from all the lore because I just want to sit here with my popcorn and my beer. And in fact, join me, hobby homies, as we listen to Shane talk Necrons. Crack yourself a beverage.
Yes. Before I talk too much Necrons, we got some giveaways.
You've already cock-blocked me. So hyped for your Necron and you want to talk giveaways are exciting though.
It's what I do, dude. It's what I do.
Yeah, we do. We've got monthly giveaways. Roll us through them.
That's your job. But all right.
Okay. All right. No.
You tell them, dude.
I better do
I'm
something.
going to be talking for the next 45 minutes, so I'll let you get behind the mic for a bit.
I was just pouring this beer, getting ready, putting my feet up, ready for a cruisy night. You want me to talk giveaways? Fine. So, a very themed giveaway this month. We're giving away a Necron destroyer. Do they have a heavy destroyer? Locust heavy destroyer?
That's the one.
One of the new boys, one of the thick boys. Great model, phenomenal model. Shane has one, in fact.
Yeah, I built one.
So all you have to do to enter this monthly giveaway is create an account on Podbean, because luckily you don't already have one, and give us a follow, because it helps us tremendously to get recognized And as a thank you, we'll enter you into our giveaway and hopefully give you a Necron Destroyer.
Yeah.
Now, the caveat to that is we cannot message you within Podbean. So shoot us a Facebook message or a Discord message or an email at hobbyhomies@gmail.com and let us know, hey guys, I followed you on Podbean. My Podbean name is blah. So that if you win, we have a way of contacting you and being like, yo, homie, you won. We're sending it to you.
Yeah. If we can't contact you, it will go to someone else.
Yeah. And we will try everything. Pigeons, carrier pigeons, smoke signals. It's just we don't know what direction to send it in if we don't know who you are. So.
Exactly. I started learning Morse code in the need, so...
Oh, well, that's good. That's going to help. But again, unless you know where you're sending the Morse code, what can you do? Just
send it out to the airwaves, dude.
And just hope they tune into your AM radio station.
Exactly.
We also have a second monthly giveaway. We do 2 a month, one for the wider audience, one for Patreon. And the Patreon only giveaway is a basing kit. So that'll include a few little tidbits and tools and things to help you increase your base game on your models. So that's pretty hype.
Yeah, that's a good kit.
That's a good kit. And we've also currently got a Hobby Homies Terrain tournament, but we'll talk more about that after, because I just want to hear some Necron lore. So we'll talk about that after the episode. We got prizes that we'll announce after the episode. So
yeah.
All right, hang on. I'm ready, I think. I got my beer, got my headphones on.
Hang on.
Bake them away, toys.
I got to crack another one.
You crack it, thank you.
All right.
Your method for cracking beers always entertains me because I know you're using that with a little pump tool. So, anyways.
Yeah.
So, Necrons, Shane, who are
Necrons. Well, just as the stars first gave birth to their planets, soon did they too bring life to the newborn galaxy. The first known sentient beings to have developed a technologically advanced civilization capable of crossing the cold depths of space was a reptilian race known as the Old Ones. Their understanding of the universe gave them the ability to manipulate alternate dimensions and undertake great works of engineering. Their technology so advanced it would appear to humanity akin to arcane magic. They could cross vast gulfs of space with a single step through a myriad of warp gates they had built to connect the worlds of the galaxy. It was much like the Eldari webway of today, albeit on a much larger scale.
Damn. So first of all, these things were lizards.
Yeah, reptilians.
Yeah, I mean, lizards. That's amazing. And now you said you compared what they could do to humans, but at this stage, were they the only known sentient race?
Yes. Oh, one of the first. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So a bunch of lizards walking through gateways. Amazing.
Basically, the technology they had now, like humanity would look at it and just think it's just pure magic. You know.
Wow.
Yeah. Just absolutely no way of comprehending, how far advanced it was.
Damn.
The Old Ones had spread to countless parts of the galaxy, but they also knew that all life was precious. Where they passed, they seeded new intelligent species and terraformed thousands of worlds to make them their own. Governing them to their own predetermined environmental criteria, it is believed by some in the Adeptus Mechanicus that even Terra had felt the Old One's touch long before humanity rose to self-awareness. Though this notion is considered heresy by the ecclesiarchy, as the Imperial Creed teaches that mankind was made in the image of the God Emperor before his spirit was incarnated to physical flesh and blood millennia ago.
Sure it is, Emperor.
Of course.
Sure it is.
And you better not think otherwise, dude, or else they're coming for you.
Yeah, my bad. I'm sorry. Emperor
the Old Ones had reached their height over 60 million years ago. They were responsible for the genetic advancement of the majority of the currently active intelligent species of the galaxy, including the Eldar, the Krorks, which are the precursors to the Orcs, the Slan, which I thought was a Warhammer fantasy thing, but I don't know, and the Jokero, which are monkeys.
Oh, yeah.
You know them, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I've seen a monkey.
The Old Ones were potent psychics who routinely used the powers of the warp for a wide variety of technological applications. They constructed a system of instantaneous, faster-than-light portals through warp space that were ultimately adapted to create the Eldar's webway. These portals connected all of the Old One's colonies across vast swathes of interstellar space. It is said that the birth of star gods took place during the creation of the universe itself, formed of infinite energies unleashed in that churning mass of unimaginable force. For an age, the universe was nothing more than swirling gas and dust ruled over by the incomprehensible forces of billions of young suns. Long before planets had formed and cooled, the first self-aware entities emerged from the seas of plasma onto suns themselves. These creatures became known as the Catan. But at this stage of their existence, they bore little semblance to the terrifying entities they would later become. They suckled as parasites upon the uncaring parents that bore them, shortening the lives of suns by uncounted millennia. In time, these star vampirous creatures learn to fly on wings of magnetic flux, leaving their star to drift to new feeding grounds and begin the cycle anew.
I'm having problems wrapping my pea brain around that.
What's up, dude?
It said they suckle. You said they suckle at the uncaring parents.
Yeah. So the Catan were born from suns.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Sorry, I've backtracked a little bit. This is just before the Old Ones sort of came into being.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That's all right.
Yeah.
I gathered that. So the Catan were before the Old Ones. They were born from suns.
Yeah.
And they absorbed the sun's energy?
Yeah. Yeah. So they feed from the suns.
Wow. That's cool. And they don't have wings. They have, like, magnetic flux.
Oh, it's just magic, dude.
Well, I mean, to us, it's magic.
Yeah.
Okay. So the Catan are the precursor also to the Old Ones.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing you'll get to that. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're all right. Leaving their star to drift to new feeding grounds and begin the cycle anew. To the solid chunks of matter that they passed in the void, they paid no heed. The internal fires and electromagnetism of these newborn planets insufficient to even register their monstrous hunger. As the Old Ones spread across the galaxy, the younger and fiercer races struggled in their wake. The Necrontyr was such a race, brought under a fearsome and scourging star, which uncaringly bombarded their planet with atomic winds and storms of plasma. What little information is known of the Necrontyr tells that their lives were short and punishing. Their quest for immortality was so powerful that they spent their short lives building grand tombs in a way for their legacy to continue long after their death.
Damn, that's cool.
Yeah.
I feel so sorry for the Necrontyr. We've been so blessed here on Earth to be born in perfect conditions.
Yeah.
Whereas they were just given the hell.
Literally hell.
Yeah.
Their planet was just like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. All day, every day.
Yeah. And they were like, I don't want to be here anymore. That's cool. That is cool.
Yeah. The Necrontyr sought control of their destiny through science, but they learned that they could not conquer the curse that had been encoded into their bodies. They persevered, yet their accomplishments brought them nothing. Their star still reigned as a life giver and death god combined. Their cities were built in anticipation of their demise, the living becoming temporary residents, hurrying through the sepulchres and vast tombs of their ancestors. Unable to find peace on their homeworld, the Necrontyr blindly took to the stars, using stasis crypts and slow-burning torch ships, clad in living metal to resist the age-long journeys through the interstellar void. They began to colonize distant planets. As their domain expanded across the galaxy, so did the fractures. This began a series of civil wars which would see the destruction of dynasties and the death of kings. Sometime in their slow expansion, the Necrontyr encountered the Old Ones. The colonization of these mystic reptilians had been far swifter than that of the Necrontyr. That and their immortality kindled a burning hatred of the Necrontyr, which ate at them spiritually as much as their hideous cancers consumed them physically. Why should one race be granted such long lives, while their own was cut so brutally short?
That's what I was just thinking. I was like, these Old Ones got given everything, whereas these poor Necrons are just happy to get off their damn planet.
Exactly.
And they're hulking metal pieces of crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Justified rage, I feel.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they got reasons to be mad.
Yeah, for sure.
Jealousy breeds hatred, and the Necrontyr turned their entire civilization towards destroying the Old Ones. In their desperation to reunite their people under a common cause, the Necrontyr went to war with the Old Ones. This would become known as the War in Heaven, and the galaxy would burn for an age with its fury. In their hubris, the Necrontyr thought they could destroy the Old Ones and their allies. But though their empire was vast and their wonders many, the Necrontyr soon faced extinction. They were constantly outmaneuvered by the Old Ones' mastery of the webway portals. In a span of centuries, the Necrontyr were pushed back until they were little more than an irritation. In the face of defeat, the unity of the Necrontyr began to fracture once more. No longer did the prospect of a common enemy have any hold over the desperate dynasties. Scores of generations had now lived and died in the service of an unwinnable war, and many Necrontyr dynasties would have sought peace had the ruling Triarch permitted it.
Oh, wow. That's big.
Yeah.
It's really putting context to my Kit Kat Chunky story. Maybe that was kind of a minor inconvenience compared to what the Necrontyr went through here. Fair. Yeah. I mean, fair enough too. Like, if your planet, your planet sucks. You start expanding. You meet. You probably would feel on top of the world. Like, you're like, hey, we overcame our own star, and we can certainly overcome these pompous, were given everything Old Ones,
Yeah.
They would absolutely hate them.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that some would have gone for peace. I guess maybe once they started losing, they would have gone like, look, these guys aren't the worst enemies. We just got off our planet. We've started to expand. We're becoming a dynasty,
Yeah.
Maybe let's just sort for peace. That's interesting.
Pretty much when they realise they won't win, they're like, we should just give up. But the Triarch are like, no.
That would cause some problems, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some political issues for sure. You
Exactly,
think there's people out here hating Dan Andrews. You think he's bad. Oh my gosh. The Triarch.
Exactly. Exactly. Thus began the second iteration of the Wars of Succession, more widespread and ruinous than they had come before. So fractured had the Necrontyr dynasties had become by then that had the Old Ones been so inclined, they could have wiped out the remaining with great ease. Faced with the total collapse of their rule, the Triarch searched desperately for a means of restoring order. In this, their prayers were answered, though the price would be incalculably high. It was during the reign of Sarek that the godlike beings known as the Catan were first blighted the Necrontyr. It is unknown how exactly the Necrontyr first came to encounter the Catan, as they are many contradicting tales of this event. Yes.
Speaking of contradictory tales, I have watched a lot of Necron stuff this last week. Not lore. I would never do that to you. I've been looking forward to this, but I've been watching a lot of like competitive things.
Yeah.
And so many people aren't sure how it's pronounced. I've heard most people call it Satan.
Oh, yeah.
But I've heard Games Workshop managers call it Catan.
Yeah.
So just wanted to give the listeners a head up. If you're getting triggered by it every time we say Catan, I don't know what to tell you. That's what we're going to call them.
Yeah.
If it's Satan, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I was thinking that when I was writing this, because I the same thing from watching Bat Reps and that. I think it's like an American thing maybe that they call it Satan. Yeah. I don't know. Because you could argue like it's not a K, but then a C can make a K noise, but then you just ask the fucking English teacher. I don't know.
Yeah. We'll do research on that, but for now, if it triggers you already to hear it a few times, I'm guessing over the next 30 minutes you're gonna hear it a couple more times.
I should have counted how many times I've written it because I've written it a lot.
A lot.
If someone can count, I'd like to know the answer.
Yeah. If someone count up how many times he says Catan.
Yeah.
But just so as you know, either we're right or we're wrong. It's 50-50.
Exactly, dude.
Carry on, dude. Sorry for that tidbit.
Thank you. As there are many contradicting tales of this event, some claim the Catan were discovered by the Necrontyr as the Necrontyr sent a probe to investigate a dying star, or as claimed in the Book of Mournful Night, held under close guard in the Black Library's innermost sanctum, tells rather that the raw hatred of the Necrontyr held for the Old Ones sang out across space, acting as a beacon the Catan could not ignore. However, so contact occurred. The shadow of the Catan fell over the oldest dynasties first. Some Necrontyr actively sought the Catan's favour and oversaw the forging of living metal bodies to contain the nebulous essence which is the star gods. The Catan took to the shape of the half-forgotten gods of the Necrontyr, hiding their own desires beneath cloaks of obsequious subservience.
Truth.
Say that after a few beers.
Well done, dude. Well done.
Thank you.
You've earned that.
So it was that one the Catan came before the Silent King, acting as a forerunner to the arrival of his brothers. Amongst its own kind, this Catan was known as the Deceiver, for it was willfully treacherous. Yet the Silent King knew not of this Catan's true nature, and instead granted the being an audience. The Deceiver spoke of war fought long before the birth of the Necrontyr between the Catan and the Old Ones. It was a war that the Catan had lost. In the aftermath, fearing vengeance from the Old Ones, the Catan had hidden themselves away, hoping to one day find allies with whom they could finally bring an end to the Old Ones.
I reckon he's tricking.
Well,
But
you know.
I mean, I don't know, but it's just educated. I just got a feeling something about the Deceiver. I feel like he's tricking him.
We didn't tell him his real name.
What was it?
Steve.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
In return for their aid, the Deceiver promised to deliver everything the Necrontyr craved. Unity would be theirs once again, and the immortality they had sought for so long would finally be within their grasp. No price would be there for these great gifts, the Deceiver insisted, for they were but boons to be bestowed upon valued allies. Who could say as to how much of this tale was truth? It is doubtful whether the Deceiver knew, for trickery had become so much a part of his essence. Yet his words held sway over Sarek, who, like his ancestors before him, despaired at the divisions that were tearing his people apart. The Triarch and nobles of the royal court debated for months, though through it all, the only dissenting voice was that of Orican, the court astrologer, who foretold that the alliance would bring about a renaissance of glory, but destroy forever the soul of the Necrontyr people.
Dude's smart then.
Yeah, he saw it coming. He saw it coming.
Very smart. Yeah.
Yeah.
No wonder his voice was so well received. Like in hindsight, you can obviously see that, but for him to know it in the moment, good on him. Good on him. Didn't help him, but good on him.
That's it. Desire and ambition swiftly overrode caution, and Orican's prophecy was dismissed. A year after the Deceiver had presented his proposition, the Triarch agreed to the alliance, and in such had forever doomed their race. Jeez, I'm getting thirsty reading all this, man.
You take a sip. I got a lot to say about this Deceiver.
Yeah.
I'm going to call him Captain Tricks. I wonder, I mean, it's probably, like they say, maybe the Deceiver didn't even know. But I wonder if that's true. Like, did the Old Ones did the Satan actually lose to the Old Ones? Or did they just not care about their existence at all? And, yeah, I don't know. Because if they didn't care about their existence, because they didn't care about giant planets or anything like that, they just floated from star to star, absorbing its power, right?
Yeah, but so you see, planets didn't give off any energy, you know, like the little energy they had was nothing compared to like what a sun would give off.
Yeah, so they just didn't care because they're like
star to star. Yeah,
they can't eat that.
Yeah,
but do you think
pretty much.
The Old Ones, maybe they did give off energy, so maybe they did care and did lose.
Yeah,
I'm just wondering if like they actually just didn't care about them at all because it didn't impact them. But then they saw the Deceiver saw an opportunity to deceive someone. It was like, oh no, we're losing, but if we work together, we can beat them. Like maybe they actually never fought at all. Yeah. Interesting. That's cool.
That's right.
Bit of a dick.
And so, the Catan fulfilled their promise of immortality in the form of living metal bodies, and the great biotransference began. Colossal biofurnaces ruled day and night, consuming bodies of weak flesh and replacing them with enduring forms of living metal. As the Cyclopean machines burned, the Catan swarmed about the biotransference sites, drinking in the torrent of cast-off life energy and growing ever stronger. For all but those of the ruling castes, it was the obliteration of almost all personality and free will. As Sarek watched the Catan feast on the life essence of his people, he realised the terrible depth of his mistake. In many ways, he felt better than he had in decades. The countless aches and uncertainties of organic life now behind him, his new machine body was far stronger than his frail form he had tolerated for so long, and his thoughts now swifter and clearer than they had ever been.
So now I'm starting to think the Deceiver definitely was tricking him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He was tricking. He was bamboozling them, dude.
He was joshing him. He was having a keck. So their plan obviously was, so did the Necron tier like willingly throw themselves into these furnaces?
Some of them did, but some of them were forced. I think the majority of the ruling caste did it willingly, but for most of the civilians, man, they were forced. I'm actually glad you asked that question because I didn't write it down, but I remember reading something. Ghost arcs, right? The transport for Necron warriors in the game.
Yeah.
They got their name Ghost arcs because they used to use those same ships to load them up full of Necron tier and take them off and throw them in the furnaces, right?
Damn.
And some of them said they could see the ghosts of their ancestors above these ships. So that's why they got called Ghost arcs. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool as heck. I would never have known that about Ghost Arcs. I would have just gone, it's called a Ghost Arc. That just gives it so much more depth when you play it or see it on the tabletop. You're like, that thing was originally used to ferry the Necron tier into these furnaces.
Yeah.
Where they became Necrons.
Yeah. They just go around, they load up all the civilians, take them off. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. So
it's so cool because I've actually, on my table to my right, just got my Necron army laid out.
Yep.
Because I was painting them the other night and I pulled them all out for a picture. And it's just so cool to hear you talk about them and then look over it and I just see them in a different light. I'm like, you poor murderous robots.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. You actually, after this, you sort of do see them in a different light because, like, they were just trying to live their life. They were just trying to, not die by the age of like 30. They just wanted to live longer lives and not have their entire life be a build up to their death,
Yeah, they've just ever since their race breathed, they've just been bombarded either by their son or they finally expand, start a war they can't win, they get absolutely decimated and they just become basically extinct and they're on their last ropes and they're like, and someone comes to them and says, hey, actually, I can make you immortal and we can beat the old ones and you can conquer the galaxy. And you're like, that's a pretty sweet gig.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good deal.
All right. Yet there was an emptiness gnawing at his mind and an inexpressible hollowness of spirit that defied explanation. In that moment, he knew with cold certainty that the price of physical immortality had come at the cost of his soul. With great sorrow, the Silent King beheld the fate of his people. The Necron tier were now but a memory, the soulless Necrons now born at their place. The Catan had fulfilled their promise. Even the lowliest of the Necron tier were blessed with undeath. Age and radiation could not erode their new bodies, and only the most terrible of wounds could destroy them. The Necrons enjoyed a unity that the Necron tier had never known, though it was achieved with tyranny rather than consent. The biotransference process had embedded command protocols in every mind, granting Sarek the unswerving loyalty of his subjects. At first, the Silent King embraced this unanimity, for it was a welcome reprieve from the chaos of recent years. However, as time wore on, he grew weary of his burden, but dared not sever the command protocols for fear of his subjects seeking vengeance for the terrible curse laid upon them.
Yeah. So, that guy you keep mentioning, Sarek, is it?
Yeah, Sarek. That's the Silent King. That's the new model that's come out. Yeah.
I didn't know that was the same person, but I guess why he is called the Silent King comes into play later. But that's cool.
Now, they were always called Silent Kings throughout, like, their reign. Like, they've had many Silent Kings, but he was just the last one because he got they all got turned into living metal, so he can't die, and no one can take his place. Yeah.
Right.
Silent King is just a title. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why are they called the Silent King?
I'm not sure. I should have looked that up, to be perfectly honest.
When you were preparing for this episode, I'm like, this is such a big task. Like, to try and fit the entire Necron lore in anything under 10 hours is insane. They're one of the oldest factions. Their lore has been fleshed out for decades. You know? So there's no way you're going to know everything, like why the Silent King is called the Silent King.
Yeah, there's so much
Google
stuff that...
I'll figure that out.
Yeah, there's so much stuff that I wanted to get in this, but I haven't. But I haven't even touched on anything from the tabletop. Like, my sources for this today have been the 5th edition Codex, the 7th, the 8th, and the 9th. And also, like, what's in the core rulebooks, right?
Yeah.
So I've just had all those codexes spread out across the whole house, like, just flicking through them, and girlfriend's
like a
getting
little
worried.
scholar.
Yeah.
Can imagine you with like an old school lantern above it, just like vividly studying.
Yeah, pretty much.
Also, just a little known fact I happen to know off the top of my head with no help from Google whatsoever. The head of the Triarch, which at this time was, what was his name? Sarek?
Sarek, yeah.
Sarek.
Again, pronunciation is a thing.
Yeah. Sarek.
Yeah.
The head of the Triarch was always known as the Silent King, for he addressed his subjects only through the 2 pharaohs who ruled alongside him.
Okay.
So he was the Silent King because he never spoke to his subjects. The other 2 that made up the Triarch did on his behalf. So there you go. And so he was just the last Silent King and ruling before they turned from Necrontyr to Necrons.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
That's cool.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Now I have to buy the model. Bloody
yeah,
hell.
I have to buy the model now too.
$250 gone. Very cool, man.
Yeah. No longer being the frail, sickly short lives the Necrontyr, the now powerful Necrons fought with the Catan as one, the old ones doomed to defeat. Glutted on the life force of the Necrontyr, the empowered Catan were near unstoppable and unleashed forces beyond comprehension. Planets were burned, suns extinguished, and whole systems devoured by black holes called into being by the reality-warping powers of the Catan. Necron legions finally broached the webway and assailed the Old Ones in every corner of the galaxy. They brought under siege the fortresses of the Old Ones' allies, harvesting the life force of the defenders to feed to their masters. Ultimately, beset by the implacable advance of the Catan and the calamitous warp-spawned perils they had themselves mistakenly released, the Old Ones were defeated once and for all.
Boom.
Yeah.
Eat a dick, Old Ones. Actually, I mean, they weren't necessarily bad guys, were they?
No, I don't think so.
They're just another race, yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
What? Oh, reptilian. I was going to say, what kind of species were that? I remember now. They're lizards.
They're lizard people, yeah.
Yeah. Damn, that's cool.
Yeah.
Poor
Throughout
guys.
the final stages of the war in heaven, Sarek bided his time. The Catan had to be brought to account for the horrors they had wrought. And so it was that, when the Catan finally won their great war, the triumph was short-lived. With one hated enemy now defeated, and the other spent from a hard-fought victory, the Silent King at last led the Necrons in revolt against the Star Gods. In their hubris, the Catan did not realise their danger until it was too late. The Necrons focused unimaginable energies of the living universe into weapons too powerful for even the Catan to endure. Being a mortal star spawn, part of the fundamental fabric of reality and impossible to destroy entirely, each Catan was instead shattered into thousands of fragments. This was sufficient to the Silent King's goals. Each shard was bound securely within the extra-dimensional space of a tesseract labyrinth, unable to escape. Though the cost of victory was high, millions had been killed in a consequence of rebellion. The Necrons were once more in command of their own destiny. Yet, even with the defeat of the Old Ones and the Catan alike, the Silent King now saw that the time of the Necrons was over. For the moment at least. The mantle of galactic dominion would soon be passed to the Eldari, a race who fought alongside the Old Ones throughout the war in heaven, and thus had come to hate the Necrons and all their works. The Eldari had survived when the Old Ones had not. And now the Necrons, weakened through the overthrow of the Catan, could not stand against them. Yet the Silent King knew that the time of the Eldari would pass, as did the time of all flesh.
Big play. That's a big brain play.
Yeah.
So basically went, look, there's this race now because of our fight with the Satan, whatever. We cannot in any way, shape or form, because they also just fought with the Old Ones, didn't they? So they fought with the Old Ones, with the power of the Catan, won, then they fought the Catan. Now there's like, they'd be absolutely disheveled and fractured.
Yeah, there wasn't much left of them.
And now there's the Eldari of all things. So you go, look, we can't actually beat them, but we can't die. So let's just have a kip, and eventually they'll die, and we'll come back.
Exactly. That was the plan, dude.
Smart.
Yeah.
Big brain. Big brain Silent King.
That's it. So it was that. The Silent King ordered the remaining Necrons to convert their cities into grand tomb complexes threaded with stasis crypts. Now, it is time to let the Eldari shape the galaxy for a time. They were but ephemeral, while the Necrons were eternal. Sarek's final command was for his people to slumber for 60 million years, but to wake ready to reclaim the galaxy and rebuild their dynasties in their former glory. As the Silent King's final order was given and the vaults sealed shut, he destroyed his command protocols by which he had controlled his people, for he knew that he had failed them utterly. Without a backwards glance, Sarek, the last of the Silent Kings, sailed into the blackness of intergalactic space to find whatever solace or penance he could. Canoptek constructs acted as guardians and keepers of the tombs, repelling any roaming explorers or treasure hunters unlucky enough to wander into their midst.
There was something really cool about what you said in the previous section about the Catan shards being sealed away in these Tesseract vaults, effectively.
Yep.
There's a model of a Catan, isn't it? Breaking out of a Tesseract vault?
Yeah, I don't think he's breaking out. He's like still chained in there.
Right. Oh, right.
That's the squiddy looking one, yeah, where he's got like all the little energy beams coming off him. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the transcendent, whatever it is. And I was like, I mean, until today, that was just a model to me. I was like, oh yeah, Tesseract Vault's got a weird dude in there. I don't know if he's powering it or if he's being attacked by it or whatever, but now, like, just hearing that and adding all that context, I'm like, he's trapped in that vault, man. Yeah.
They I think the vault uses his energy. So he's trapped in there like a prison cell, but it uses his energy to power like the weapons and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it uses his energy against him too, probably to like keep him in there.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah. And so the Silent King sort of everyone went to sleep, but he just went off into the big wide universe, immortal, trying to find something.
Yeah, basically
Solace or penance.
he just did a mic drop and just left, and he's like, yeah,
I failed you.
Pretty much, yeah. And he just sailed off because he's sort of like, it's like a self-imposed exile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why 60 million years?
I don't know. It's just a number.
He put a clock on it, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
He was like, I'm going to need some time. I'm going to need a little bit of time to recover from this one. I'd say...
I need some me time.
Yeah, bit of me time. You guys have a snooze. These Eldar, their flesh, they'll probably phase out. Give them 60 million years, roughly.
Yeah.
And even then he was wrong. Eldari is still a thing.
They're still going. Yeah, I think they're in no way their former glory, but...
For sure, yeah.
They're still going. Yeah.
He's probably right. I mean, this is probably a good time to come back when there's so many different because of the fall of the Eldar. Yeah. They're no longer, like you said, the powerhouse that they could have been. So, hey, as good a time as any.
Yep. Well, that's all I've got, dude.
Nice, man.
I got up to the bedtime.
Yeah.
For the Necrons. And
nap time, man.
Yeah.
That's perfect too, because that leaves it open for what I'm even more excited about, and that's a part 2. Think of Necrons wake up, Silent King returns,
Yeah.
Oh man,
I'm excited for more, to be honest.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
excited. It's very cool.
There's just so much like after the the waking and the process of waking, like without going into too much detail, but the Flayer curse. Oh man.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. True. There's heaps. Damn.
Yeah.
It's cool too. It's a good time because like there's probably a lot of people that went out, bought Indomitus boxes, or have seen the new dope Necron models and are getting into Crons, like me, for example. And they've got, well, I mean, I knew that there'd be they'd have an expansive lore, but I'm like, there's so many different places to look. So I'm glad thank you for collating all these different codexes that you have and bringing this information to me on a silver platter, dude.
Well, I mean, look, I'm no public speaker. I've never done much public speaking, but I hope that went all right.
Yeah, dude, I loved it. It's
Cool.
it's like it's the perfect part 1 for the Necrons because that is their life. That's been their entire, what do you call it, history. It's like pre-awakening, post-awakening. So
yeah, and the majority of is before they even became the Necrons. You know, like
that's it.
It's the Necron tier. It's the flesh and blood before they gave their soul to become immortal.
Yeah, I wonder what they look to. Does anyone, or is it ambiguous what they looked like while they were Necron tier? Were they humanoid?
I've seen like artwork like throughout the research, but humanoid. Yeah, they're basically like they're 2 legs, 2 arms, very skinny, very like sickly looking. Like, yeah.
I guess because they were absolutely bombarded with radiation.
Yeah. They were all kinds of fucked up.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't blame them. It's not their fault.
No. But
I mean, I know they didn't win. I know they got the short end of the stick, but I mean, I suppose they lost their soul, so that's pretty big. I was gonna say, being immortal robots that effectively can't be killed.
Yeah,
it's pretty dope.
Yeah,
but
if you kept your personality, like a lot of the Praetorians and the Lich Guard and all the high-ranking figures, they've kept the majority of theirs, but like the warriors, they've got fuck all that's left of their own personality. You know, they're just mindless drones. Really. Yeah.
Damn. That sucks.
There's some really good novels. I've read a couple of them. One's called Damnos, I think. No. I can't think off the top of my head. But there's a couple of good ones which are from Necron's point of view. And there's one where it's a tomb world that's just waking up, but they start becoming afflicted with the Flayer curse. It's like it's the point of view of this like female overlord, and like throughout the book she's just becoming like more and more mad.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. But it's so fun.
Also cool. MJ, one of our Discord users, posted about a Necron overlord I'd never heard of before. Trazine, I think it's pronounced.
Trazyn the Infinite.
Trazyn the Infinite, yeah.
Yeah, you haven't heard of him?
Never heard of him.
He's the collector, dude.
Exactly. So for those that don't know, it sounds like he's like the collector, like from the Marvel series. I don't know if people have watched. Is he which? He starts in Guardians of the Galaxy, but he's in the extended MCU. Anyway, he's a collector of like tidbits, so artifacts and relics and things like that. But his relics are a little bit odd. Yeah.
If you go on 1D4chan and look up Trazyn the Infinite, it gives you a list of what he's got.
Oh,
fucking
really?
Hilarious. Yeah, it's fucking hilarious, dude.
He's got like cat paws and like rib cages, and
I think he's got Elvis. And it's just so random. Like,
but from what I remember reading, he's just like so driven by the desire to collect things that like the Necron army loves him because he'll just go and raid a planet for its artifacts, and they'll be like, oh sweet, he's just leading a war that he's winning. Like, he's conquering this planet. Yeah, so he can get like rabbit's paw or whatever. Yeah,
he showed up. He showed up right before Cadia fell to the Black Legion, and he took some trinkets from there too.
Trinkets.
I can't remember what exactly. It's basically what it is though to him, dude. He's just got like this mantelpiece, and he just goes around and just collects things and just sticks it on there. He's like a magpie, you know, picking up shiny things.
Dude, I've just decided I'm theming my army around this dude, man. He sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I'd love to like have a bunch of Necron warriors just like with like little packs, like little pouches with trinkets in it that they've collected for him throughout the battle.
Yeah, one's got like a Game Boy Color or something on it.
Yeah, exactly. That's dope. But you know what's cool? You know, this goes back to them losing their personality. He was probably like an archaeologist or, you know, like a professor of some sorts in the Necron tier.
Yeah, he would have had some sort of like that kind of background.
Yeah, what do you call it when they keep historian, whatever. And then through the fall and slumbering and waking up, and you know his personality's changed now that he's still got that, but it's demented. It's changed. You know. Well, it's interesting. It's almost become a protocol instead of a personality trait.
Yeah, exactly, dude. And with that, there's one overlord called Nemesor Zandrak. When he woke, his basically mind did a reset, right? He thinks he's flesh and blood, Necrontyr. He thinks his army are flesh and blood fighting other Necrontyrs during their little civil wars that they had.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, but he's got a bodyguard, Oberon, Vanguard Oberon or something like that. And he basically, like, he knows what's going on. He knows that this guy's losing his mind, but he protects him, right? He looks after him. He makes sure he doesn't get himself into shit, basically.
Yeah.
Like, there's just little things like that, man. Like,
that's so cool.
So awesome.
Reminds me of Rogue One, as most things do, how they've got the older Jedi and his bodyguard who knows he's an old fool, but protects him anyways.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
So cool. Yeah.
Damn, man. Thanks for that. That was awesome.
No worries, dude. I hope you enjoyed. Hope the listeners enjoyed. Bit of Necron lore there. Only a fraction of what there really
shard,
is.
If you will.
A shard, yep.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's I'm actually probably gonna just delete my audio file and just listen to you talk about Necrons for 40 minutes while I paint my Necrons later tonight. So appreciate it, dude.
Sure did.
But before we finish up, we did say we're going to talk about the Hobby Homies Terrain Tournament.
That's the one.
Now, we just wanted to make something that sounds cool. It's not an actual tournament.
Oh, no.
I should make that clear. So the premise of this is it goes for all of what season are we in? Spring.
Spring, yep.
So it ends on the last day of November, which is 6 weeks away.
Yep. November 30.
November 30, entries close. And so basically, it's all you have to do is take a photo of a piece of terrain that you're working on before you start. Or if it's a scratch build terrain, just keep us up to date with you just send us a thing and say, hey, I'm planning on building this out of nothing.
Yeah.
You know? And then you send us progress pictures, and there's an event on the Hobby Homies Facebook page for it. Just post in there and message us on there and keep us up to date with your works. It's not a tournament. That's just a cool name we gave it. We've got a panel of judges, which is cool.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're going to judge different categories, but most of the categories are just how much time and care you put into it. We don't care if you're a golden demon painter. It's not like that. It's just, you can tell when you look at something, hey, they just knocked some things together and dry brushed it versus, holy shit, someone actually took some time to pick out details, and attention to detail is one of the categories, for example.
Yeah.
So
it can be plastic kits, it can be MDF kits. Like Fox said, it can be scratch built, 3D printed. We've got people doing bits of everything. Yeah.
Shane's doing a whole horde of, because you and me can't enter, so we thought it would be, we'll keep it ambitious for ourselves. I'm doing the entire Necromunda terrain, It's going to be quick. It's going to be dirty, but it's going to be a whole terrain board. Some people might just have a lamppost, whatever you want. If it's going on your game board, it's terrain.
I just pulled out everything in my cupboard. I'm just like, I'm going to do as much of this as I can. And just took a photo of all this stuff, which was built, primed, new on sprue. Just my gaming table was just covered. So I'm like, I'm just going to do whatever I can of this shit.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's just a good excuse to get stuff done. However, to entice you, there's some juicy prizes.
Yes.
So
very juicy.
For first place, you get a Hobby Homies trophy, which is it's going to be a pretty legit trophy, I think.
Yeah. Yep. We'll post it to you.
Along with a 40k Warhammer 40k recruiter starter set.
Yep.
So it's a little starter set with some Space Marines, some Necrons, a little bit to get you started or expand your existing armies.
Hell yeah.
We've got second and third prize as well. What are those
yeah. Second prize, they get a Hobby Homies paint holder. So that's basically, like a paint and brush rack with nice little Hobby Homies emblem on there.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'll take one. Except we
can't
win. Yeah. And third prize is just a little Hobby Homies gift pack, which is a little patented thing that we do on our live episodes. We give away these little gift packs. But yeah. So first, second, or third, you all get prizes. The biggest prize of all is getting some terrain done, but I mean those things are nice too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's it, dude. Yeah.
I think that's us, man.
I think it is. Yeah, absolutely, man. That's my brain is in Necron mode, so
yeah, I bet, dude. I bet all you I bet you're gonna go to sleep tonight just thinking of crons.
I'm just gonna be dreaming of ones and zeros, dude.
Beep boop. Just before we go, what is the Flayer Curse?
The Flayer Curse. So the Flayer Curse happens again. I'm not too sure on the gory details, which will be covered in part 2.
Yeah,
very gory. Basically, during their wake up, their alarms going off. They're getting out of bed. Something goes wrong inside their mind, and they start developing this curse, which they basically speak static, and they begin to cover their bodies in flesh.
Damn.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, and they try and consume it, but it just falls out their skeleton because they're robots.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. That's cool. I just wanted...
Looking forward to learning about that one.
Yeah, I've heard it referenced a few times with obviously the flayed ones.
Yeah.
But I wasn't too sure, and I didn't want to let the episode go and forget about it. But just quickly before we go, I'm going to run through our Patreons and give them a shout out because, obviously, nothing that we do could be done without them. You may notice a difference on some episodes. In most of our episodes, we give a little spiel about our patrons, what they've been up to, who they are, all that kind of stuff. We are at the amazing point where we actually have so many patrons that was actually taking up a massive part of our episodes.
Yeah.
So we want to give them a shout out to recognize them every episode because they deserve at least that. And then once a month or a couple times a month, we'll talk about them in length.
Yeah, a bit of an update.
Yeah, we just know that moving forward, we're not going to be able to do that every single episode because we want to be able to talk about Necrons for 50 minutes, instead of Necrons for 30 and giveaways for 10, So less housekeeping, but our undying love and gratitude for you, patrons, can never be ceased.
No, that's right. Without you guys, we wouldn't be here doing 2 episodes a week. We'd probably still be here talking to each other, but it's probably just each other not recording. So, massive thank you to Final Dinosaur, Foggy Highway, Churchy, Dave, Rory, Caitlin.
Yeah, Arkham Leper, although he's changed his name many times in our Discord. Whack the Ewok, Joe, Lethal, and MJ. Thank you guys. You're our OGs. We have many more Patreons, many more Discord users, but obviously we don't have time to thank you all, but thank you all.
Yeah. Speaking of Discord, it's just insane the community we have there. So if you haven't joined yet, jump in. You can find the link on hobbyhomies.com. It's like nearly non-stop. Maybe a couple of hours in the early hours of the morning where it's quiet, but people are sharing what they're painting, what they're building, games they're playing. We've got the hobby hangout, which sporadically we jump in there and we all just chill out and talk and hobby together.
Yeah.
Fox and Final Dinosaur were playing CSGO while the rest of us were hobbying, so you guys can do that too if you want.
Yeah. Hey, man, he issued a challenge. I accepted it, so I downloaded CSGO and we 1v1'd each other.
Yeah, dude.
It was good fun, man. It was good fun.
That's it.
Yeah, it is good. We got such a good crew in there. You guys are amazing. Yeah, I froth it. I've muted every other Discord except for that one.
Yeah, same.
And even then, my phone still's just going off. So you guys are amazing. Thank you. Yeah, jump at the Discord. It's a good time. And yeah, I froth these hobby hangouts. That we just did one the other night just on a whim, on the advice of Jace and one of our Discord users and host of the TCG podcast. And we were like, that's a great idea. So we all just jumped in there, painted some stuff, chatted together. It was great. So we hope to do many more of those.
Hells yeah.
Anyways, you've listened to us enough. We're out.
Be free.
Be free, friends. Ride off into the sunset like the Silent King.
Exactly,
and leave us to slumber.
On his boat. He had to have a margarita table, yeah?
I don't know, man. He seemed pretty beat up. But maybe he did. Maybe it was like, I both deserve this margarita and need a drink.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just need a drink. It's been a long day.
Yeah, it's it. He didn't even put the umbrella in there because it wasn't a party.
That's right. Someone gave him this margarita with an umbrella. He's like, you know what? Take the umbrella out. I do not deserve that. It has been a bad day, to say the least.
Yeah.
They're like, what happened? They're like, okay, so like there were these old ones and this Catan. Anyways, we've been Hobby Hammies. I've been Fox.
I've been Shane.
Oh, you're Shane.
You've been listening.
Peace.